Good morning, May class, and welcome to your next maths lesson. In the previous lesson, we were looking at subtracting fractions, and I discussed with you that it was quite similar to adding fractions, that if they had the same base, you just needed to add the top numbers together in the same way that when we are subtracting, if the denominators are the same, we can just subtract the numerators. So we're continuing on with this idea of subtracting fractions today, but today we're going to be focusing on the following. We're going to look at subtracting fractions from whole amounts. So you're going to be using bar models to subtract a fraction from a whole number. But before we do that, you are going to be answering your arithmetic questions. As usual, there are 10 questions for you to answer. So we've got questions 1 to 10. So what we're going to do is, like I've been doing in the previous few lessons, you are going to pause the video, answer these questions, and then I'm going to give you the answers to the questions, and then you can tick them and we can go through some of them if there are any problems. So pause the video now and answer questions 1 through to 10. So as you can see, I've got the answers that you should have got with your working out, and I will talk through a few of them with you. So the first one is 12 times 12 is obviously 144. We then had 17 times 9. And the way that I've worked it out, and it is on there, is that I broke up 17 into 10 and 7. And then 10 times 9 is 90. 7 times 9 is 63. And I've then added them together and got an answer of 153. With the Roman numerals, 259. The Roman numeral for that is CCLIX. And if we break that down, CC is for 200, L is 50, and IX is 9. 8 ninths minus 2 ninths is actually 6 ninths. So we've done 8 minus 2. The bottom has stayed the same. So my denominator has stayed the same. My numerator I've minused, and I've got 6 ninths. 6 times 9 is 54. 42 divided by 6 is 7. A tenth of 70. Now what we would do is, obviously our whole is 70, and we've got to break it up into 7 equal pieces, and we're looking at 1/10 of that, which is 7. 7,643 plus 2,534 is 10,177. 6,742 minus 1,241 is 5,501. And the last one, 48 divided by 4 is 12. So pause the video now and mark your work. If you've got anything incorrect, please correct yourselves. Right, as mentioned before, we are subtracting fractions from a whole number today. So have a look at this for a moment and see which one do you think is different. Hopefully you're looking at the fractions themselves. Even these ones are fractions because this is broken up into 8 equal pieces, of which all of the pieces are colored in. So that is actually 8 over 8, and this one is 3 over 3. So if we look at all of these, I can see that this is a whole number because it is 10 tenths. This is 8 eighths, 3 thirds. That's a whole number. That's a whole number. This is a whole number. This is a whole number. Now these two are a little bit different. We've got 8 ninths and 6 thirds. But you know from what we've discussed previously that 6 thirds is the same as 3 over 3 plus 3 over 3, which actually makes 2 wholes. So these ones that we've ticked make 1 whole. This one actually makes 2 wholes. So then we look at this question. This is 8 ninths. So if I had 8 pieces or 9 pieces, sorry, let me just do it very quickly so we can see. It's very uneven, but there are 9 pieces there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know that my whole would be 9 over 9. but this says there's only 8 nines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that means it is not a full whole number. So actually the one that is different is 8 ninths, because it is not made up of a whole number, whereas all the other ones are either made up of one whole or two wholes. And that is something that we need to remember when we go into this lesson, is the idea of whole numbers being something like 10 over 10 or 15 over 15. Whatever the number is, even 200 over 200, it's going to equal 1, unless it is something like this, where it is an improper fraction, and then you would have more than one whole. So, how could you use this bar model to find the missing number? So I'm going to choose a different color. Or have we? Yeah, okay. So a bar model, like we've mentioned, obviously shows us amount from a whole. So if I'm going to draw it for you, and I'm going to draw it very lightly over here. If this is my bar model, this says that it's 10 tenths minus something tenths gives me 6 tenths. So I'm going to draw my bar model of 10 tenths. Okay, so you can draw it with me. Make sure you've got a ruler and you are making straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from this, I can see that I have got 10 whole or 10 parts, 10 tens, which makes 1. So this question here, this is actually one whole. 10 tenths is equal to one whole. So remember that. But now it says 10 tenths minus something gives me 6 tenths. So I know that I should be left with 6 tenths, this bit here. So let's color in 6 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tenths. So what did I take away that then gives me 6 tenths? And if I use a different color, let's use yellow, I can see that I've taken away 1, 2, 3, 4. I've taken away 4 tenths and I've been left with 6 tenths. So I've got 4 tenths over there. So let's see from the answer that is below if we have got the same thing. Let me just clear my annotation. So if we take one last look at it, and then we're going to look at what, I don't quite know why it won't let me select. Sorry, I seem to be having a bit of a problem here. It won't let me select what I need. Clear drawing. Okay, well, it is correct, but let's move on and have a look at the rest of our questions, and then we will carry on. So the question says, find the missing number. And if you were paying attention in the previous slide, you will see that we are starting with a whole number. This number here is 11 over 11, which I said in the previous one gives you one whole. 4 over 4 is one whole, and 8 over 8 is one whole. Okay, so we're starting with a whole number. So use your bar chart to help you with this. So again, I would draw another one. I would make this one into eighths. So, oh, sorry, into 11ths. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And again, it says that we would have the 11 11ths. So if you can imagine that 11 11ths is the whole thing, and we are left with 8 11ths. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many have we taken away to get 8 11ths? We have taken away 3. So pause the video now and complete the next 2 questions. And make sure to use a bar chart when you are working this out, just to show you're working. Right. In this slide, you can see that they are using a number line to calculate our question. So remember, when we say the difference, what is the difference between one number and another number? You are usually taking away something. So if I want to draw my number line, and I'm going to put in the numbers that we need. So we would start over here with 2 is a whole number. That was the starting point, and then 1 is obviously in the middle. And we can see that it is counting in quarters because it says 2 quarters. So we would break up this number into quarters. And then we would break 1 to 2 is another whole number. This would also be in quarters. Okay, and it says we need to find the difference between 2 quarters and 2. So this would be 1 quarter, that is 2 quarters, that is 3 quarters, and we know that 4 over 4 is the same as 1 whole. Then this could be 1 and 1 quarter, 1 and 2 quarters, 1 and 3 quarters. If you want to write them as improper fractions, you could. It would just be, and I'll put them in a different color, 4 fourths, 5 fourths, 6 fourths, 7 fourths, and this is obviously 8 quarters, 8 fourths. Okay, so that's just showing you in a different color. So what they've done, as you can see from the one above, is we're starting, and I will use that color, we're starting here, and we are also looking at this number. We need to see what the difference is. So let's work backwards. So from 2 to 1 is 1 whole. So we've taken away 1 whole. Then we've taken away 1 quarter and 2 quarters. So if we had to say 2 wholes, okay, minus something would give us 2 quarters. What we're trying to work out what that number is. We can also do it like this. So 2 wholes minus 2 quarters will give me an answer, and this answer here will be the same as that answer there. But it can get a little bit confusing because we've got 2 wholes and we're working in quarters. So we can convert it to our improper fraction. So I'm going to try to use another color so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's do 8 over 4 minus 2 over 4 will give me 8 minus 2 is 6. The denominator stays the same, so 6 quarters. Let's count with our jumps of how many quarters we've got. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 quarters. And 6 quarters is the same as 1 and 2 over 4. So with all that working out that we've just done, you can see that, and I'm going to just erase this so we have a bit of space. that if our question is what is the difference between 2 and 2/4, we can say 2 minus 2/4 gives me 6/4, which is the same as 1 and 2/4. Or you could say 2 minus 1 and 2/4 will give me 2/4. Okay, so either one of those is correct. But now we can see that the difference between the two numbers is 6/4 or 1 and 2/4. Right, so now you've seen the line, the number line method. You've also seen the bar chart method. I want you to pause the video and choose whichever method you would like to help you work out these questions. So we've got 3 minus something, and then we've got 2 minus something, 5 minus something, and 2 minus something, and they will give you an answer. India's, and then we've got this question. So sorry, got a bit ahead of myself there. Pause the video now and work out these questions. Next one says, India says 2 minus 2/6 equals 4/6. Is she correct? And explain your answer. Remembering what I said about 1 whole being 6/6. So what would 2 wholes be? Right, so your 3 tasks today, or your 4 tasks today, are as follows. This is your independent work. Use the bar model to help you subtract these fractions. Complete the subtractions that you have there, A, B, C, and D. Question 3, you've got a whole number minus something gives you an answer. What is the missing number? And then the missing number is at the beginning, minus that will give you that. So what was the whole number we started with? And then Teddy has 4 liters of juice and 3 jugs. If he pours 3/4 of a liter into each jug, how much juice does Teddy have left? You can use the bar charts to help you or a number line to help you. So please feel free to do that. Don't forget to share this work with us on Tapestry, and please make sure that you've got it uploaded by 4 p.m. this afternoon.